Story family, this is Allison Gilliard with Run Your Story, where every story needs to be heard. And what an exciting episode we have, because we get to sit down with the Dr. Justin Southall of Eastern Shore Chiropractic and Sports Clinic. And we had two Patreon supporters that also asked questions, so that was a lot of fun. So you guys are going to learn not only Dr. Justin's pole vaulting story, which is really cool, but also how he became a chiropractor and just some really good information that he gives us overall as runners. And so really appreciate Dr. Justin taking the time, because he is a very busy man, to sit down with us and to share all his nuggets of knowledge and wisdom. And so thank you so much, Dr. Justin Southall, for all that you do for runners, keeping us on the pavement, even during injuries, and for what you've created at Eastern Shore Chiropractic and Sports Clinic and Cairo South Spine and Sport in Mobile. So thank you so much. We appreciate you and all that you do for our community and for your story. It was really fun. You guys are going to really enjoy this. I hope that you learned something new, because I did. It was really cool. And speaking of cool, it is really cool when your boss believes in your podcast. And so that is why this month we have partnered with Eastern Shore Chiropractic Sports Clinic in the Eastern Shore area and Cairo South Spine and Sport in Mobile, because these two clinics believe in the Run Your Story podcast. They believe in the running community, and we believe in them and all that they do. I'm also a patient there, so I speak highly of all the doctors, and they're just absolutely incredible. And not only incredible at their jobs, but incredible human beings individually as well. They really care about patients, and it's incredible to watch them talk to one another. It's incredible to watch them network with other doctors to help bring the best possible care to patients. And so that is extraordinary. So guys, from adjustments to dry needling, cupping, scraping, in the podcast with Dr. Justin, he's also going to talk about the laser and all the things like that. So there's all kind of really cool tools that are in the toolbox of care. So definitely check them out if you have not. And if you have and you are a current patient, make sure you drop in and you say thank you for partnering with this podcast. We love the podcast, we love the clinic. So, all right, guys, lace up those running shoes, get ready, get set, and let's go run with Dr. Justin Southall. Well, thanks, Dr. Justin, for being here.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Super pumped. I just will go ahead and say this. I finally get to be the boss. Let's go.
You are the boss. You're always the best, Allison.
For those that don't know, I am one of your soft tissue specialists, one of two. And so I do work mostly alongside Dr. Stephanie, but we're here at the Eastern Shore Chiropractic Clinic, and we were very gracious for us to be able to do this interview because you have a really cool story. But we're also going to talk about injuries from a chiropractic standpoint. So thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Look forward to it.
So you're a pole vaulter, and there's a trophy in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a story behind it, Dr. Justin.
Yep, there's a big one.
So how did you get that trophy here? And don't say you stole it.
Well, I got it here by taking a car. No. So when I was a sophomore in high school, I was an athlete, played multiple sports, went to VMI, Virginia Military Institute basketball camp. And we were at a teen camp, and it was probably 6-7 hours from my parents' house. And we ended up being there for a week, and day 3, I sprained my ankle really bad. Like, I know I tore my ATFL, but my mom said, not coming to get you, tough it out, and I'll get you to somebody when you get home. So when I got back from that camp, she said, I'm going to take you to your athletic trainer. She's working at this new chiropractor's office in Ripley, West Virginia. And so I ended up hobbling in, because I'd hobbled all week, no crutches or anything, just tough it out, right? And my athletic trainer from 8th grade, so I was now going into my junior year, I was that sophomore, going into junior year summer. She was now working for this chiropractor, versus she's working for the middle school football team. And she said, you've got to meet our chiropractor. And so he comes popping in, and the dude has long hair, and he just looks like he's super fit, and he's bursting out of his mouth. He's like, you're a pole vaulter. And I'm just like, okay. And he was like, how fast are you? How tall are you? What's your weight? Blah, 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 blah. Just nailing me with his questions. And he's like, "You're a pole vaulter. You're going to win states this year." And I'm like, "Man, I'm a sprinter. I'm a high jumper. We don't even have pole vault. I don't think." And so he gets on his phone. He calls his ex-head college coach in Abilene, Texas, and says, "When's your next pole vault camp?" And he says, "In 2 weeks at Kent State University," which was 2.5 hours from our house.
Okay.
And so he's like, "He'll be there." And I said, "Wait a second, dude. I'm going to sprain ankle, man." And he's like, "No, I'll get you fixed up." And literally, he fixes my ankle. I do wear a brace at this pole vault camp, but I break our school record the first weekend there, first 3 days. End up winning states my junior year and my senior year, all because of meeting this chiropractor.
Wow.
And so, needless to say, I got that trophy in there because the best pole vaulter in the state of West Virginia for the given year gets the trophy. In my senior year, I was the best in the state
Wow.
for all classifications, which was pretty awesome.
No kidding. Wow.
So that's how I became a pole vaulter.
So you went in for a sprained ankle.
Yep.
You came out a pole vaulter.
That's right. That's right. Thought I was going to play college football, but
Wow.
completely changed my route. Got a full ride for track and field and did 4 years of track and field D1. Was riddled with injuries from a north-south football game that I played the summer going into college. It was super weird. West Virginia plays it in the summer versus right after football season like they do here. Mm-hmm. And so no one's really in football conditioned, but got injured, partial tear of ACL. And then from there, I tore my ACL again in track and field coming over hurdles because I turned into a decathlete and had surgery and then retore my knee up 2 years later, my senior year, torn meniscus and had that repaired and just ended up finalizing my outdoor season with throw and javelin because that's the only thing that didn't hurt at that point in time. So, needless to say, I continued to go see my chiropractor, and I had athletic trainers trying to fix me. I had medical doctors prescribing me meds, and I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon and wanted to cut, but after I had those 2 knee surgeries and realized, hey, you don't have to cut to help people, and my chiropractor pushed me in that direction. That's how I became a chiropractor.
Wow.
So, pretty neat.
That is really cool. I knew from previous conversations we had had over the years that you were looking at ortho.
Yep.
And so what was taking you down that road?
We never had a medical doctor in our family,
Okay.
and I love science, I love the body, and I love the idea of cutting on people. And I still regret sometimes, like I've had a couple children be in the hospital for surgery and different things, and when I'm in that hospital, I was like, I feel at home. Like, I feel like I should be here, but I'm way too old to do it.
I would say though, you've created a really cool home here
Yes.
at this clinic and across the bay in Mobile for Cairo South.
That's right.
So you've created 2 homes.
Yep.
And that would have never happened
Nope.
if you were a surgeon.
It was a God's calling thing because I graduated chiropractic school in 2007, and we moved straight to Baton Rouge to practice. And the clinic I was in was great. I love my boss, my staff that I worked with there, and they were great, but we were seeing personal injury patients. And that's something I don't love. We treat our own patients that are personally have been in a car accident, but it was 90-some% of patients were just car accident patients. And you just didn't get, they were hurt, they were injured, they wanted your help, some did, some didn't. And it just didn't feel like home. It didn't feel like what I was called to do. And so my last 6 months in Baton Rouge, I started studying for the MCAT and was going to take the MCAT and go to med school. And within a month of taking the MCAT course, which I would go to work at 7, see patients till noon, study till 1:30, see patients from 1:30 to 6, study till 7, go to class from 7 to 9:30, and then 30-minute drive to get home. I would not see my new baby or my wife for 4 days a week. And I got sick. I lost 20 pounds. I dropped to 177 pounds. I had an ulcer. And we ended up going to my in-laws' lake camp in Louisiana for a weekend just to relax and get away.
That's right.
And my son at the time was 1.5 years, and he caught his first fish, and I missed it. And I closed my book, and I said, I'm done. We're moving to Fairhope.
Wow.
From that moment on, my stomach pain went away. My wife was completely cool with either idea. And she's like, you sure you don't want to pursue your dream? Like, God's saying go this way. So we ended up in Fairhope in 2009, and here we are a long time later.
Yeah. So then how did Chiro South come to be?
So started here. We opened the clinic January 2010. I was immediately going to different races because my passion for our clinic was to treat not personal injury patients, but to treat runners, athletes. That's where the sports clinic and the Chiro South Spine and Sport and Eastern Shore Chiropractic and the sports clinic came into play. And we specialized, or I, at the time, we didn't have y'all helping us, but I at the time specialized in active release and soft tissue treatment. And so I targeted the races and CrossFit events and things like that so that we could get more athletes in. And then those athletes started pushing their family and friends to treat us, and they started coming from Mobile. So when we opened up Chiro South in 2017, 30% of our weekly patient load was coming from Mobile.
Wow.
And they were said, when are you going to open Mobile? I love you, but this drive is 45 minutes to an hour. That bay is, driving across the bay is terrible. So that's how Chiro South became. We couldn't be Eastern Shore over there because that doesn't work. And so we were looking at branding and franchising Chiro South as a clinic that we could utilize our philosophy and our treatment protocols that we do with patients here and get such great success, move it to Mobile, and if it responded in Mobile, then maybe spread it across the Southeast. But trying to find those perfect doctors and the ones that work so well, like Dr. Stephanie and Dr. Jeremy, and then finding the right staff to do that has become a challenge. And we now at Chiro South have that perfect staff like we have here. And so they're exploding, they're treating patients are getting great results, but you just never know with which doctor you're getting initially when you're hiring somebody, and that's kept us from exploding into a franchise, which now I don't want to because of reputation. I want to keep it to the patient and focused right on them, self-centered to that, and not worry about branching out. So
I will say one of the things that I really love about being here is the fact that we do see a lot of athletes of all different ages. It's not just the middle school or the high school or the collegiate, but we do see, I mean, I'm a patient here too. So it's like we see those that we just want to keep on the pavement or keep cycling or whatever it is. And it's so fun when they get off the table and they're like, man, I feel so much better. Or they come in from the weekend, they're like, man, I PR'd. You know, and just knowing that like you played a small part of that. It's a really cool feeling.
it's really rewarding.
Absolutely. And what's really cool about this place is that, yes, you guys do adjustments, but there's also the ultra line that's here. And it's almost like whatever the patient comes in, there's a place or there's some type of treatment for them. And that's what I love, is that it's very personalized. It's not a one box, hey, let's get them in and get them out. It's how can we help you get to your daily activities, playing with your grandkids or hitting that PR.
Exactly. That's what it's about, customized treatment for each individual.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we do have some Patreon supporters that they were really excited to find out we were interviewing you. So Meredith Nations wants to know, when you're a runner, when do you need to know when you want to run through the pain, or like when you need to stop and rest, or when do you need to get it evaluated?
Okay. So that's a question we get all the time, especially our runners, our tennis players, because they like to play through the injury. And now our pickleballers. So my general rule of thumb, and this is based on my 18 years of practice and also my collegiate and high school career of sports and me continuing to be an athlete now. So the no pain, no gain concept that used to be in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, that's just thrown out the window, okay? You don't want to push through pain if the pain is sharp, shooting, searing, or even like you think it could rip, or if the pain is constantly increasing as you're running, or when you hit the tennis ball and that pain is sharp now in the elbow where it was just tight or dull, you want to back off. And I know runners hate this. I know tennis players hate this. But at that point in time, you've got to get it evaluated and you got to rest. Our treatment focuses on the soft tissue aspect. So we're addressing 6 different distortions with the fascia. And as we're addressing those different distortions, the athlete's going to get better. We also have the means to refer quickly to a couple different orthos that we like to use. One specifically, Dr. Spain, that utilizes diagnostic ultrasound. So if we think there might be a tear because the patient felt a pop because they felt that sharp pain but needed to go that extra mile and then felt that pop or pull, then we are going to immediately rule that out to give the patient some options. So back to your question, dull, tight, stiff, run through it as long as it doesn't progress. Sharp, shooting, searing, stabbing, or debilitating that you can't move on, stop. Try some rest. If within a few days the pain is the same or worse, then you need to be evaluated.
I will say this, that there's no hiding anything from you. So again, going back, I had a calf injury, thought it was fine, everything. And I walked in one day and you were like, why are you looking awesome?
Yep.
And I was like, why you had to call me out? Doc, what's happening? But I appreciate that because that's, again, something that like I didn't even know I was doing. And then I tried to adjust it because I was like, I don't want it to go.
Hide that wing from you.
No, it was great. I really appreciate that. How important is strength training? Because it's something that we do talk about on the podcast. So from a chiropractic standpoint, when it comes to strength training, how important is that for injury prevention, but then also just for daily activities?
So strength training is probably the most important thing you can do. If you are not doing something active with isometric resistance, any type of stabilization training during the week, then you're missing out. So we're starting to see more and more of our female population showing up quicker with osteopenia and osteoporosis versus our male patients just because of the way the hormones work in the body.
Sure.
So I'm seeing 60, 62 versus used to be 70, 75, 80. And so we push those patients to try to work out, but also push them towards OsteoStrong. And OsteoStrong is a resistance training. You can do it more than once a week, but once a week where they are using that isometric resistance and a hold with researched workouts that hold that resistance specifically to those bone density. And it'll help build the bone density. So isometric endurance training come hand in hand. So if you are an endurance athlete and you're not doing any weightlifting at all or any resistance band training, that needs to be added because down the line, you're going to see the consequences of not doing it. You'll see a lot of endurance runners or distance runners that they kind of look frail as they get older. And they're real lean, but they don't have that muscle mass. And that actually increases the risk of mortality. So, got to do it.
I will say you were somebody that practiced what you preach because on lunch breaks, and even today, even though you don't work on Fridays, you were in the gym hitting the bands, hitting something. So I think that's really cool too of you, that you're not just, I don't just see this for my patients, but I do it for me.
That's right.
Because we know that we have to take care of ourselves to be able to take care of patients.
Yep. So you need to be doing something at least 5 days a week. Move. Like Allison said, at lunchtime, I'm already seeing patients from 7:30 to 12:30, but then at lunchtime I'm there doing some sort of resistance training. It may be an active recovery day because I'm sore from my previous day, but I'm still moving, still addressing those target tissues and just trying to get some core stability because I'm bent over patients all day long, and all of our patients are bent over computers or their phones all day long. And so if they're in that hunched over position for a long time, they become weak or they start to develop flexor dominance and they roll shoulders forward. posture that just kills us.
Very good. All right, so Jordon Dubose wants to know, how can endurance athletes prevent injury while struggling with an iron deficiency and how to combat it?
So, iron deficiency is one of the most common disease processes in athletes.
Is it really?
Yes.
I did not know that. Okay.
Super duper common.
Okay.
Females specifically, because they have their menstrual cycles, and that week or however long it may be, they're losing blood and then losing their iron. The number one thing to do if you feel weaker or have fatigue is you got to get with the functional medicine doctor. Locally, we have some really good ones. Dr. Kallenbacher is one of my favorite. In Mobile, I would suggest Luke Fondren. He's great. They'll run functional blood work. And then you got to figure out, are you just iron deficient or do you have iron deficiency anemia, which that's a much more severe issue. So endurance runners, they're losing it from sweating. They're losing it from heel strike, causes micro bleeding in the heels. They're losing it from some micro bleeding in the stomach as well from all the extra time spent in their activities. So from there, we figure out with blood work through the functional doc which one it is. And so they've got to look at their hemoglobin, they got to look at the ferrets, and the most important that they got to look at that a lot of people miss is the transferrin levels. So your transferrin is your biochemical truck that transports that iron from the liver to the cells.
Wow.
Okay? If that truck's not moving from the liver, then we got some sort of problem with the liver. Okay? And at that point in time, we need to treat the liver first. The iron deficiency may correct itself once the liver's fixed. But if the transferrin levels are good and we're just iron deficient, then we start looking at how's our diet. Okay. So the best sources of iron through diet are going to be your animal products. Unfortunately, for some people, they don't like hearing that, but it's called heme iron, and you're getting it from your animal products. Now, non-heme iron is good too, where heme you absorb. The different studies say anywhere from 35 to 50% of it that you take in. Non-heme comes from your plants, okay, and also from eggs. And so with the non-heme, you're only absorbing 10 to 15%.
Huge difference there.
Huge difference. So if you are only plant-based, then you've got to supplement with vitamin C. Vitamin C will help elevate and allow you to absorb the iron better from the non-heme foods. So if you're taking care of your foods, you're eating properly, and your iron's still low, and we've already ruled out a liver issue, then we start looking at supplementation added. And so you've already added the vitamin C, and then you go into supplementation. So iron peptinate is one of the most well-tolerated, well-absorbed irons. So I would highly recommend looking and starting with that. But then you've got to monitor your blood work while you're doing that, because taking too much iron can cause problems as well. Men in general don't take extra iron because it can cause thickening of the blood and cause heart conditions. Females, typically, that's why they're lower. They can take it, but the blood work needs to be evaluated at least every 6 months, if not every 3 months when you're taking it. From there, then we want to make sure your diet's good. Iron supplement. If you're still low, then you start looking at the IV labs where you can do some IV iron infusions. Hopefully you're not at that point, but with endurance athletes, eat, then supplement, and then from there continue with their blood work. Is the biggest thing.
I say all the time, the human body's fascinating.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
And it goes back to no injury is the same. Like how many times, like we see sprained ankles come in here, but somebody may respond differently to, again, that customized treatment. And so it's all the things that you said where diet may help somebody, whereas somebody else may need just that extra supplementation.
That's right.
Wow.
Very simple.
That's pretty cool though.
Complicated, but simple.
Yeah. So obviously you being an athlete yourself, knowing the start of how all this started, when somebody comes in and they say maybe they're not active and they say, you know what, I really want to get into running, but I don't know where to start. What is something that you would tell them?
Most of the patients that they want to be active, you got to crawl before you walk. You got to walk before you jog. You got to jog before you run. So we got to start with baby steps. So initially, if they come in our office and they've got some sort of pain going on, okay, so say it's back pain or hip pain, they start feeling better. And now they're like, hey, maybe I'm a little overweight and I need to start. So we'll start them just with walking in general, add some that I've been saying isometric resistance training, but some isometric resistance training, some glute stability, and some core stability to get them moving. Once they start moving and they haven't re-aggravated previous condition, then we can push them forward. Big fan of bands, love bands. They'll keep you just as strong as lifting weights. Some really cool stuff out there. And Pilates is one of my favorites. I know it's...
Ashley is so happy to hear that. Oh.
So for core and lengthening, Pilates is fantastic. I like yoga, but with some disc issues in the lower back, Pilates can stabilize a little bit better. There's too much bending for a disc.
Okay.
So we start easing them into certain things. Do I tell them run out and do CrossFit? Not yet. Does that mean they can't do it? No. Do I tell them to go with a personal trainer? Sometimes yes, if they can afford that situation. Having a strength coach that knows what they're doing, understands the body, and isn't just going to throw you through a circuit and not pay attention to you is key if you go that route as well. And then there's other times that we've done our job, we've got them out of pain, and we've cleared the fascia, but they still have some sort of weakness. So then we partner with a couple different PTs around here, and we'll have them work on that stabilization under PT-directed therapy. And again, I'm a chiropractor, and I like PTs, so we work hand in hand with them to stabilize that athlete, to get them to get to their goal of maybe it is a couch to 5K, or maybe it is to win the senior division of pickleball, you know.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah. For the record, you're older than me.
You have kids?
Also, remember, we have the same birthday.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the best birthday
You're
ever.
just older than me.
Yeah. It's funny how I'm 29 still.
Oh, Lion on this podcast. Lion. I love that. The only thing that I love is that when patients come in, and it's like what you said, when they come in and you've evaluated them, worked with them, sometimes you and Dr. Stephanie will send them exercises. Like you'll email them and be like, hey, here's what I want you to do at home. So you're sending them a home exercise program. And some of it does include bands, and some of it's core stability. And then you guys check up on them. So that's the thing that I really love about being here, is that you guys are like, okay, you're ready for this next step. Okay. And then if not, let's go back, or let's take this away. Again, it comes back to that. You can't just put somebody in a box and say this works for everyone.
Yeah. Our practice differs from 98% of all the other chiropractors out there. There's some great chiropractors out there, but what we do is fascia, soft tissue based initially. We correct those 6 distortions, and then our chiropractic hats come along. We do what chiropractors do. We look and correct subluxation, alignment issues, anything that could be causing some sort of nerve interference. And from there, once those are moving forward and looking good, that's when we give those exercises and or refer if we have to. Or if maybe we're not helping the patient, that's when our medical doctor friends come into play and we make those referrals.
I love that. I love that you've built this umbrella to say we're going to do all that we can to help you get back to what you want. That's pretty incredible.
That's right.
So I know that you're family oriented. You love being outdoors. You love to rock.
Yeah.
What else are you passionate about, Dr. Justin, when you're not at the clinic?
So I do a lot.
Shocking.
Yeah. My life's really crazy busy. Talked to Dr. Jeremy last night and was like, how did you get all this done this week? So I coach travel basketball. My 14-year-old, he's in 8th grade. I took over about 3 years ago for a travel basketball team. So from middle of February until the end of May, most of my weekends are taken up with travel basketball. And so we play hopefully 4 games this weekend in Mobile. Last weekend, I was at a certification seminar last weekend, but our team played in Pensacola the weekend before. We were in Baldwin County. So love coaching. I'm also coaching flag football, same 14-year-old. And then with my super big passion with sports that I've completely forgot about is pole vault. And luckily I have a chance this season, I'm coaching a wonderful female athlete at Fairhope. She's a credible gymnast, and she's my son's girlfriend. But I've helped get her technique and skill set up, and she went from 6'6" to 9'6" within 3 weeks.
Wow.
She has some really good potential to go to the next level. Reminds me of my scenario. Except for she
Sandy
didn't have
chiropractor?
yeah. I'm like, hey, you're a pole vaulter. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm a cheerleader and gymnast. I'm like, please, I think you can go.
Did you really?
Yeah, we were sitting at dinner, and
Whoa.
Caroline, you are a pole vaulter. And she's like, I'm going to run track, but I'm like, you sound just like I did 20-some years ago. Maybe it's longer than that. But she got on the pole the first time. She's like, I really like it, but I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, so I talked with the head coach. I'm like, hey, do you care if I work with her? He's like, absolutely. We're short staffed. Let me know. So we started working together, worked on technique. I had her in my driveway doing drills. It's been fun. I've been to every meet she's had, like she's my own daughter. So really cool. Hopefully we'll see her go D1 next year. She'll be somewhere. She's now, I got her with a pole vault coach in Mobile. That's all he does now. He was Georgia's pole vault coach. He was at South Alabama, and now he's just in Mobile doing private lessons, and he really thinks she can go from there. So I'm excited about that. But outside of that, family and kids, my biggest passion is bow hunting.
Yeah.
And I get to do that a few times a year because I'm so busy with kids and family and clinic. So this year I got to hunt 4 times in Louisiana, and I got to hunt in New Mexico.
We're always praying when you go off.
Yeah.
Please let him kill something.
Yeah. So New Mexico was great. The rucking was perfect for that. The training got me ready for that. But I still came back happy, even though I didn't see a single elk. It was good.
I love that. Well, I do want to go back one more thing. How important are shoes? Whether from every day to, because pole vaulters, you guys have a special shoe too.
They do.
So how important is that?
Shoes play a major role in every activity of every part of your life. So from slipping out of your bed in the morning to putting the shoes on to go to work, to going to the track to run, or going out to a trail to run, your shoes play a huge role. So we talked about pole vault. So we were just on the track meet Wednesday night, and there were 22 females. 21 of them had regular spikes on, just sprint spikes or just multidisciplinary spikes, and the winner had pole vault spikes on. And I pointed them out to Caroline's mom. I'm like, you got to get her a pair of these. And she was like, what's the difference? I was like, look at them. They have a higher heel. They're designed differently. It allows the vaulter to be at a little higher state when they're planting the pole. And that just gives you a little edge of a competitive nature, a competitive advantage, rather. And so then you go into your runners. What do they need? What is the best shoe? Well, it's subjective. It's what's the best shoe for you, not what one Dr. Justin recommends, or Dr. Stephanie, or Dr. Jeremy, or Allison. It's what shoe is best for you. So one of my favorite things to say is my Nike Infinity Reacts version 3 are like my favorite thing in the world. I probably will never be able to buy them again after saying that on this podcast, but for me, I'm on my feet all day long. I'm 210 pounds, standing on this hard floor all day long. And I was constantly having back issues. And I went to Fleet Feet, and this wonderful lady named Allison, fitted me for this one pair of Nike Infinity Reacts. And I have not worn another pair of shoes since then. That was, how many years ago was that?
It's been a while.
Maybe 6 to 8.
Fine.
It fit me perfectly. And my back pain completely has gone from 3 to 5 episodes a year, just standing in here, bending over a patient. Oh, there it is. To occasional, maybe once or twice a year, where it's like, oh, I'm done for a little bit. But shoes play a huge role. And so if you're a runner, go get fitted. And even if you get fitted, they might still not be the perfect shoe for you. Try another pair of shoes. And then our plantar fasciitis patients, our metatarsalgia patients, those guys, they need to be in something when they first step out of the bed. And then when they get home, they need to avoid the hard floor. I know that we got a lot of minimalist runners too that love nothing for the feet, and that's fine if you're there and you can tolerate that. But that's probably like a 20 to 30% group of people that can do that and run minimalist without straining the calf or hurting their foot or causing plantar fasciitis. And if you're that person, I love you, because I wanted to be that guy, but every time I would run minimalist, my calf would go, my Achilles would go. And so then I found these shoes, and they've been great.
So shoes are important.
Shoes are important.
Do you have any goals? I mean, you've already talked about coaching, but do you have goals for the clinic? Because I'm assuming your pole vaulting days are over. Like, you don't have any goals for pole vaulting.
Yeah, I felt young and old all in 1 minute 2 weeks ago when I actually pole vaulted again for Caroline to demonstrate.
Did you really?
Yeah, the first one was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I so got it. And then I think it was the third or fourth time my groin muscle pulled me. He said, I don't still have it. Oh, I'm so old, it hurts. So yeah, young and old, all in a matter of 3 to 5 minutes. So goals for the clinic, we just want to continue to deliver quality care to patients. I don't care about growing and expanding and seeing. We are not a high volume clinic, okay? And I don't want to see an extraordinary amount of patients. I want to have my comfort zone that I can go in with the patient. I can spend my amount of time that I need to spend with the patient, whether it is 7 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, with the patient, that they don't feel rushed. I don't feel rushed. I can comfortably sleep at night knowing that I did everything I can to help this patient, and I'm not worried about, oh my gosh, I didn't see this amount of patients. I don't want to be there. I felt like you go to seminars and there's a lot of worrying about numbers, and I don't want to have a patient ever feel like a number. I want to stay steady. I don't like downtime.
No, he doesn't. No.
I'm type A, and if downtime is happening, then I'm going to look for something to do or find something for other people to do too, to be with me. But I just want to continue to give quality patient care. Do I want another practice someplace else? Possibly. We have discussed moving further south because we got a lot of Gulf Shores and Foley patients that come this way. We've talked even Pensacola, but again, this place is first. Cairo South is second. They're taking care of themselves. They got a phenomenal staff. It's rolling. Dr. Ellie's joined the practice over there. She's doing fantastic. But Dr. Stephanie and I, we work great together. We have a great team here. I don't want to make any changes, because you look at restaurants that take their chef and move it to another restaurant. All of a sudden, that restaurant is not producing that same quality of food at location A versus location B. And so it took me several years to find that perfect recipe for here, and then perfect recipe for Cairo South. And so if God wants it to happen, that chiropractor will fall into place in here and be able to be trained by us, and then we may look there. But biggest thing is to keep those patients feeling good and happy.
And some of those patients are moms that are expecting.
Yes.
So, which we do get to see a lot, and I love that. And then they bring their babies, which is so fun. So how did that come about? Because that's not something that we hear often is, I didn't know I could come while I was pregnant.
Yep.
And so how does that go about? Like, how did you come and say, we need to do the Webster's technique? Like, how did that happen?
So when I was in chiropractic school, I met my wife, Dr. Toby. And in our school, they taught 9 different techniques. And one of the techniques was pediatric hair, pregnancy, and Webster. So I was certified Webster coming out of chiropractic.
Wow, okay.
Where with Dr. Stephanie, when we hired her, she had to go take an extra course because her school didn't offer that. And once she started practicing, she's like, I really love babies and mamas. And I'm like, good, because I love them too, but I don't want to hear a baby crying.
Oh, you mean like yesterday?
Yeah, like yesterday. So she's perfect, absolutely perfect. I think Dr. Ellie is moving in that direction too. But I just had a patient literally yesterday that was like, hey, my wife's having back pain and she's 6 months pregnant, and her OB said she's fine with chiropractic, but doesn't think y'all do that. And I said, oh, well, we need to educate that OB, but we'll get her in Dr. Stephanie, let her evaluate and get her treated. So it's extremely safe for pregnant women. We've had great success helping them through their pregnancies with anything from sciatic pain to carpal tunnel. Pregnancy-induced carpal tunnel is so difficult and it's debilitating. And then when you mention Webster technique, we are not flipping the babies, but we are adjusting the patient, which allows the baby to turn themselves. And Dr. Stephanie is fantastic at that. I used to do it, but she's the one to do it, not me.
And that's what I love is that like you have your way of doing things. And then again, it's what practicing is all about. Like you have your way, just like with soft tissue, Lindsay and I both do it, but there's just different ways that we do it.
That's right.
And then the cool gadgets that we get to work with.
Lots of gadgets.
Lots of gadgets. So I do want to say like it really is a fun place to work because it's not only like the staff and the doctors, but also just, again, it helps us, the human body, to be like, oh yeah, well, let me try this and this. And so you're always growing. Your mind's always turning. And you're always trying, again, to figure out, okay, well, this worked last time. What happened since? So I appreciate that about you, that you're not just to come in, let's get adjusted, get you out. That our patients mean something and that it's not just, hey, you're a number, like you said.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, your number, lay down. Let's not talk. Let me just adjust you and get you out of here. No,
Yeah.
that's not us at all. And yes, we have lots of gadgets. It's called shiny object disease. Chiropractors get it really bad. But the shiny objects are things that are proven based upon our research to help patients. I mean, we just got you a couple presents this week.
It was a great day. It was a great day.
So these really awesome heated, vibrating, scraping devices have been a patient favorite. So even I've utilized them, and they're like, whatever you did with that thing, that was great last time. And so that's a cool new gadget. But the two biggest ones that we utilize the most is going to be our Ultraline. It's our computerized instrument because patients and in general, the general population has a little bit of fear or I guess we'd say ignorance of what we do because they watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna pop me like
Yeah,
that.
let's rack them and crack them and see how loud the crack can be, or let's put a daggone collar around their neck and then rip their head off. Right? That's not us. We're not going to do that. We've had patients. Hey, can you do that YouTube, that chiropractic? No, I can't. Well, I don't want to be here. Well, I'm sorry, but I can guide you to somebody else because I'm not going to do that because I'm worried about your health.
Right.
And safety. So, but our two biggest is the computerized instrument. It's called the Ultraline. It's like the iPhone of chiropractic. It'll actually scan the patient. It shows us where they're out of alignment, not just our hands, but with the instrument. And then it percusses or taps the joint into place very gently. It's safe for fractures. So we can go above a fracture and below a fracture without hurting anybody. It's safe for fusions. We can go above it, whereas manual adjustment, your risk making it a little bit more risky. Osteopenic, osteoporosis patients that are, or even that, someone that has brittle bone disease, it's fantastic for. And then the ones that have disc herniations that are shooting down the arm or shooting down the leg, or the pain's so severe that there's no way I'm going to lay them on their side and try to put pressure on that because it's going to hurt. It may help them, but it's going to hurt to do it and make them more uncomfortable for a while. So we utilize the instrument. And then second thing is the pressure wave. Shockwave therapy is unbelievable. 88% effective for plantar fasciitis. That's our go-to. And then shoulders, knees, any soft tissue injury. Just had one yesterday with a nasty trigger point in her neck. We utilized that, and she left. She's like, look how far I can turn my head. So shiny gadgets, shiny objects, they're just part of our toolbox. So if we start out conservative, we don't throw everything at every patient. But we start out conservative, soft tissue work. If they need an adjustment, we adjust. And then we may do some combo, which is ultrasound, E-stem, and maybe dry needling or acupuncture. Just depends on what the patient needs. And the treatment is not just set. We don't just do that for 6 straight visits. Maybe they need a little bit of something different, and we throw a curveball at it because it's not responding to conservative, and that's where having that extra tool in your toolbox just really, really helps.
Dr. Dawson, this is great. So much fun. And I also want to say thank you for partnering with this podcast and for all that you do for the runners of the community.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. Let me know if you need me back.
Absolutely.
So much fun, and it's not every day you get to interview your boss, so that was really, really cool, and I really appreciated once again Dr. Jordon Southall from Eastern Shore Chiropractic and Sports Clinic, and also Southall Spine Sport for sitting down with us and sharing all his wisdom and also his story. That was so cool. I had no idea about his pole vaulting story and how he got involved, and I just see the trophy. That's all I ever knew. So now when I walk by, I just kind of giggle because now I know the story and I think it's really cool. And it's right there in the clinic. So it's such a cool thing. And I'm so thankful that he shared that with us. So thank you, Dr. Jordon, once again, for all that you do for the running community. Dr. Stephanie, Dr. Ellie, Dr. Toby, and Dr. Jeremy, they're absolutely phenomenal human beings. So great doctors, even better human beings. So definitely check them out, guys. That is Eastern Shore Chiropractic and Sports Clinic and Southall Spine and Sport. And as always, thank you so much to Gilliard Tech Services for all that you do for editing and website design and updates. Guys, definitely go check him out. We really appreciate all that Gray does. He loves the running community. He loves Runner Story, and we are just so grateful for him. So if you just need somebody to look at your website, kind of give you some updates or his thoughts, or you have no idea where to start, definitely reach out to Gilliard Tech Services. You will love Gray and his heart that he has. He understands the importance of websites and getting your message across and all the things. So he is very creative when it comes to websites. So definitely check him out, guys, for all your website needs. And he is your go-to. And you can find him at Gilliard Tech Services as well. And as always, our Patreon supporters, thank you for loving us. Thank you for taking care of us. Thank you for all that you do. You guys are extraordinary human beings. And thank you for the questions that you gave. They were really good questions. And I appreciate you guys saying, yeah, like we want to be a part of this. So thank you so much for that. We love our Patreon family members. You guys are absolutely incredible, and I just adore you so much. And you keep us encouraged and keep us going. If you want to be a part of that Patreon community, you can go to our website at runnerstory.com and you can join that way as well. And make sure you like, share, comment, guys, whether Spotify or Apple or on social media. We definitely need all of that to get out there. That's how your stories get told. That's how they get heard out there, and we want your stories to be heard because they're absolutely incredible. And thank you guys to our listeners. We appreciate you guys so much and for making this what it is. This community is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys so much. And until next time, go run your story because every story needs to be heard.